Howdy folks, this is Todd with Great Escape Farms and Michael Judd. We are at his residence here. This is his straw bale house with a living roof, and I've previously done a video on that and we'll link to that in the description. But today we're going to get an update. So if you'll notice, this is Michael here. He's sitting on a new patio and he has some wonderful new landscape going on around here. He's been working the whole time since our last video. Let me pan around real quick. And then I'm gonna go up on a tripod and I'm actually gonna sit with Michael and he's gonna explain what he has going on here. So I am sitting here, finally got the camera on both of us together. I am here with Michael Judd. And for those of you that may not know him from my channel, please check out his website. He also has a YouTube channel, but I'll let him explain a little bit about himself just so you know where he's coming from.
Thanks, Todd. Yeah, Michael Judd here. I'm a permaculture designer, natural builder, author. We are today at our permaculture homestead in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains of Maryland. Beautiful place. And behind me, you can see our circular straw bale home, which we built over a course of many years. It was mixed up with life, a lot of life. But all the wood in the house comes from our land. Most of it's tulip poplar. We have a pure stand of tulip poplar. And most of it's storm fallen wood. And we were able to keep that round wood feeling by doing round wood timber framing, which is not easy. It takes a long time, but it really preserves that energy of the tree in the house. So did a lot with that. We have over 550 straw bales. Yes, actual straw bales in the house. We have a traditional lime plaster on the outside. On the inside, we have earthen plasters, earthen floors. We have a beautiful, vibrant living roof. Full of different types of sedums. Because when it comes to your living roof, it's a place where you want drought-tolerant plants. So succulents are really good. It's a misnomer to think you're going to be growing your garden or a food forest on your roof, because you don't want the roots getting into your liners and getting water into your house. So shallow-rooted, tough plants up there on the roof, doing absolutely wonderful. And one of the things that I've really found over living in this house now for 8 years is that the living roof really helps keep the heat out of the house. I think it's something like 70+% of heat in buildings is absorbed through the roof. So by having a living roof, plants and soil, that actually keeps that heat from penetrating. So it helps keep our house cool. That coupled with, really thick straw bale walls, our house stays naturally cool in the summer without air conditioning. Now we do have a cupola and we have upper story windows so that you get what's called passive ventilation. Cool air comes in low, hot air goes out high. So you get this natural convection for cooling the house. And then in reverse, in the wintertime, we have a masonry stove, a beautiful Finnish design masonry stove, sort of similar to like a soapstone. And you only need to fill the chamber one time, burn it, shut it down, and then it flywheels out that heat, over a 24-hour period. So in the coldest part of our winter, we're only feeding that fire one time, and then it's creating this really nice warmth. It's like a warmth that kind of hugs you versus blowing on you. So it's coming down to design. When you design things up front in permaculture, this is what we observe in nature, and then we imitate on our landscapes and in our homes, is, when you have a design that functions well for itself, you don't have the constant inputs. And that's, you juxtapose that against the modern house up on the top of the hill exposed, to the cold and the heat that has to pump in tons of energy. You start to see the wisdom of designing something that doesn't need the constant inputs. And likewise on our landscapes, we work a lot with food forests. Now, food forest is not growing food in the forest. You don't need to have a forest. You don't need to have a big space at all. It's really about, combining your plants, usually perennials, fruits, nuts, medicinals, useful plants together in these little ecosystems so that they support each other. Again, the idea is that you're designing it so that it functions for itself, so that you're not having to constantly input on it. And I think we can have some fun today walking around and looking at some of these designs and how they work well together. Because when you work with plants together and getting them to, sort of support each other, it's magic what's happened. It's better than like what we can do if we're constantly inputting into the system.
Absolutely.
So we have a very different twist here. Like my first book, Edible Landscaping with a Permaculture Twist. So how can we adapt our modern environments, even the urban and suburban environments where aesthetics are important too? How can we get this function in an aesthetic way that appeals to everybody? So you can adapt even the style that I have here to a more urban or HOA or, a more, pristine style environment. But, being out here, we have about 25 acres. Most of it's woods. About 3 acres in the sun is all planted now. It's chock-a-block. It's full of nuts, fruits, willows, all kinds of plants, which we're going to check out today.
And we're going to see that today.
Yeah.
And I want to see what you do when you start getting into the shade here and what you're putting in the shade, because I get asked a lot of questions about that.
Sure. There's some shady characters that we can talk about.
Maybe today, maybe another day, but we'll get to that.
No, I'm happy to hang out in the shade today.
Okay. So in the last video, I forgot to really get into how people that have questions about your place here. By the way, we have a detailed video that we did previously of the inside of the straw bale house here, so we will link to that in the description. But in that video, I didn't give you Michael's information, how to get a hold of him. I've since added it, but a lot of people don't really look at the description. So can you tell us,
Sure,
what do you have? YouTube, Instagram, email, websites?
Sure. Well, my website, ecologiadesign.com, is a good landing spot for everything else. Instagram at Permaculture Ninja. My YouTube is, Edible Landscaping with Michael Judd. Facebook, same thing, Edible Landscaping with a Permaculture twist. So I'm pretty easy to find, depends like where you like to interact,
Okay, and I promise you maybe 2-3 more minutes, depending on how long you want to take, but just tell us, we shot the last video, I believe it was 2017, so 7 years now.
Wow.
What has changed in the last 7 years here? And what lessons learned do you have specifically regarding the straw bale house? And I know that there's a nice deck that we're sitting on right now.
This is new. So 7 years ago, we just moved in, maybe like 1 year.
Yeah.
I can say that it's been awesome. I'm grateful to say that it's been awesome.
That's good to hear.
Building this house, was a new journey, and I was the GM for it, and brought in talented friends to help me in workshops and stuff. But ultimately, it upped my game for building. I'd not built anything like this before, so I was a little bit, is this going to work? But then now I can say safely 8 years ago, yes, it does work. My wife would probably say, hey, how about a little more closet space, and being a round house, you're not going to easily add on to it. So maybe a little bigger. We have a loft in there. So with the loft, it's 1,350 square feet. And we have 2 kids and a dog, sometimes 2 dogs. And it actually, it's like a nest. It's kind of nice. Yeah. It's, and being circular, the energy never feels too blocked up, it just kind of moves around. The kids literally run circles around the house. So to each their own for how much space you have as a family, but the size has proven to be good. This extended patio space is a blessing to add a little bit more, space for us all to hang out on. Other lessons learned, let me think. The earthen floors have done really well. Mm-hmm. The one in the main room has been getting some chips, but I don't know what else to do about that. I mean, you can repair that pretty easily. Earthen floors act much like a hardwood floor. Mm-hmm. So they're very durable, but like if you drop something sharp, it's going to ding, right? In the case of an earthen floor, it's going to chip. So there's a little bit of maintenance, but and it's due now, but we're 8 years in. So if I have to sort of, resurface my earthen floor every 7 or 8 years, I can live with that as well. Yep. Other lessons, I'm telling you, it's really done really well without it. The roof, people always ask, do I have to go up there and weed? Not really. I go up there maybe 2 or 3 times in the early part of the season, to pick out anything that wants to grow in there. Because again,
we're in the middle of a drought right now. Do you have to go out and water?
No. So we are in the middle of a drought, which is a great thing to add to this video because our site is very lush. It's not only is it staying green, it's staying productive. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times in a drought, people are trying just to maintain their things. Whereas if you design with permaculture, your passive water harvesting design, you're really getting in the good mulch, the ground covers, and you're working with the species that are appropriate for your site, then you don't have to be pulling out the hose. If you do the design up front, you don't have to do these constant inputs. And you'll be able to see that today. The world around us is down and brown, and here it's lush, and you'll see we're still plumping out fruit nicely. So, and
we're going to see that when we walk through the food forests and all of the lushness here. So we'll see that. It's actually going to come out in a separate video, but we will have a lot of detailed. Actually, I'll pan around here again at the end of this video. One last question for you. I'm sorry,
Sure.
I said the last one was
No, happy
one.
to keep going.
But I see this beautiful place here, and unfortunately, it's just you and your wife and the kids. You never have any visitors come, especially in the month of September, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is actually timeless because I think you're going on, what, 8 years now for your Pawpaw Festival?
Pawpaw Festival. So he's being funny. We always have people coming in and out of here. But the big one is the Pawpaw Fest. We have a Pawpaw Festival. It's always the third Saturday in September. This is our ninth annual Pawpaw Fest, and you've helped so much, and especially in the early ones.
So here in Frederick, Maryland, this video should be timeless, so it doesn't matter whether you're watching now when we're shooting in 2024 or if it's 2026. You can count on Michael probably having a Pawpaw Festival here. You can get a first-hand look at the straw bale house. You can get a first-hand look at the beautiful food forest and everything he's doing out here, the hugelkultur, the permaculture. He's got swales. He has pawpaw trees all over the place here. He has persimmons, and again, we'll see all that soon. So make sure you check out the Pawpaw Festival, third weekend.
It's a lot
Saturday
of fun.
in September.
And pawpaws, if you don't know, are an amazing tropical fruit that grows in the north. It's basically a tropical fruit that tastes like mango, pineapple, banana. And when you grow the really good cultivars like we do here, the experience is like dessert. It's so good. So we have this festival so people can have a great first experience too with the pawpaw. But the pawpaw is kind of like a poster child for getting people to come and to experience the permaculture homestead aspects. We have tours, food forest tours. We have all kinds of workshops, earth-based vendors, pawpaw ice cream, lots of variety tasting of the pawpaws, awesome music. It's like this new grown culture that's like ecology and culture all coming together. So yeah, highly recommend it. It's a great opportunity to come. We also do a couple workshops during the year, usually growing mushrooms. And sometimes we do a house tour or personal tastings. Otherwise, we're not really open to the public just on those events. So look out for those and take advantage.
You expose yourself to the public a great deal in September with that Pawpaw Fest.
Yep, I put it all in.
Thousands of people here. So.
It's popular. It's fun. It's a high vibes.
Yes. Well, Michael, I'd like to thank you for your time, and
always, my friend.
Look forward to shooting a few more videos here after we cool off, of course.
Yes.
So as promised to you, the viewers here, I'm going to go ahead and pan around one last time real quick. Look at this lush, beautiful vegetation. And just show you what he has here. Not only what you can see from here, but his parents' house is just up that way, and he has a very mature food forest up there. Tons of fruit, lots of abundance all around here. And what did you say, Michael, 35 acres?
25 acres.
25 acres.
About 3 acres of open sun, all planted up.
All planted up. Wow. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous place. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. Please check out my channel, which is on YouTube at Great Escape Farms, and Michael's channel,
Edible Landscaping with Michael Judd. I'll see you there.
Thank you.